Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. I'm Tom McKenzie with Caroline Hecker. We are joined now by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Louise Moon. Louise, we'll start with Anglo American, still saying all mine. Who writes these things? Why? Two questions folded into one. Anglo American, BHP, a deal is off.
Yes, so we had a report that Bloomberg broke yesterday, saying that BHP had made a fresh attempt to buy Anglo, or a fresh approach to buy Anglo. So that was reported yesterday. We also reported that Anglo then rejected that, and BHP have confirmed this morning that they did have some initial talks and they've walked away. So that deal is off the cards. This is the second time that they've made this attempt. BHP tried to buy Anglo last year, also failed, but crucially this time it comes before Anglo shareholders are voting for a tie-up with Canada's Teck resources. So that would be a big merger. And if BHP had been a bit more successful in their attempt, then that would have really derailed that merger. So it's coming at quite a crucial time. That will happen in a few weeks, that the vote by shareholders. It also comes as there's kind of a lot of pressure in the industry for consolidation. So this is kind of another example of that. Anglo shares didn't react too much on this news, but what it does is it brings speculation to an end that there could be, other bids, interlopers, and that this Anglo Teck deal could fall through. So it kind of de-risks that deal. That's what analysts are saying. And it looks like that should go ahead. It has broadly been supported so far.
Okay, so that in M&A that wasn't. Let's also think about Ubisoft. This is quite a complicated story, isn't it, for the video game maker? Can't say I'm an Assassin's Creed devotee, but talk to us about Ubisoft.
Yeah, so Ubisoft shares jumping this morning, jumped in the most in almost a year. So the news this morning is that they've closed a deal with Tencent. So this was agreed in March. It's a 1.16 billion euro investment from Tencent into Ubisoft, into specifically their unit called Vantage Studios. So that houses certain franchises, including Assassin's Creed, like you mentioned. And that will be used to pay down debt, and Tencent will now own a 26% stake in that unit in Vantage Studios. The reason it's a bit more complicated, so last week Ubisoft shares slumped, so they're reversing that slump this morning, but they slumped because they were said to be in breach of a loan agreement, and that's after their auditor ordered it to restate some of its revenue. So it's a bit of a relief today that it's gone through and they've got that investment to help out, which is essentially what was needed last week.
You're also looking at the advertising world as well, the advertising sector. Two major advertising companies taking hits this morning. What's behind the pain there?
Yeah, both in the UK. So M&C Saatchi and S4 Capital, shares slumping, both of them. Slightly different reasons, but overall it's kind of paints the same picture for the sector. So if we take M&C first, they cut their outlook. They said they were adversely impacted by the US government shutdown, and that will hit their growth and profitability for the full year. So obviously disappointing on that part. And then S4 Capital slumped 10% this morning. They issued a profit warning, essentially continuing to struggle. So the wider industry, and M&C's also been hit by this as well, is struggling with less spending from clients because of the wider macro environment, slower business wins for the same reason, the rise of AI. So the whole sector hasn't been performing well, and S4 is continuing to struggle on that front. And then M&C's got this kind of added factor of the US government shutdown hitting them. So both slumping this morning. So not great news towards the year end for advertising.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.